everyone, and welcome, there we go, to the SpyParty Competitive League Week 1 broadcast. I am your host, Lieutenant Hummus. I am joined by two fine casters, Toboshi and Warning Track.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
say hello, everyone. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing
Hello.
very well. How are you, Hummus?
I am doing well. I am having a wonderful Sunday. It is a nice day. I've got my frosty beverage. I'm ready to watch some SpyParty. How are you, Warning Track?
I'm doing all right. It's not too bad here either.
Excellent. I've got my drink of choice. I hope you all have your drink of choice because we have three wonderfully hot games coming at you today. We're going to start off with PwndNoob versus Elvisnake in the Gold League, followed by Canadian Bacon versus Crazy Kaylee in Platinum, and finally we're going to finish things off with a challenger game, Bitbanding Pig versus Quicklime.
Diamond, though, for that second match, the highest level there is. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest. All of these matchups sound amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I really don't have anything else to add, so I'm not
Well,
even going to try.
I will add something.
Okay,
the
add
first
something.
two, the first two are obviously high-level play, gold and diamond, respectively. And as we say very often, the difference between gold and plat is pretty small at this point. There's a lot of skill from really just silver on upwards, and certainly plenty of players below who probably are a little underpromoted. So you're going to see high-level play out of gold. You're going to see high-level play out of diamond, and then in challenger, you still find some pretty talented players, but more importantly, you get unpredictability. You don't fall into those normal routines where snipers are winning a high percentage of games or people are, doing one hardtail. In Challenger, you'll see a lot of fun stuff where spies will win lots of games, multiple hardtails will get by the sniper, and decisions that you're not used to seeing will get made. It can be very creative and fun, and in a way, really just as interesting as the high-level play.
Indeed. And with that, why don't we just get right into our first match, shall we? That's going to be PwndNoob versus Elvisnake. I did have the picks and bans up on my screen at one point. Oh, there they are. Let's. Oh wait, look at this. This is our production value. Boom! Oh my gosh. PwndNoob versus Elvisnake from the Gold Division. Let's do our picks and bans. So our first. Whoops. There we go. So our first ban coming from Elvisnake. Elvisnake bans Veranda. Any 5 of 8. Followed by PwndNoob banning Courtyard any 4 of 7. What do you think of this ban? Yeah, banning Courtyard. What do you think of that?
It hurts to see Courtyard go.
Yeah, it really does.
You don't see that very often.
They are. Yeah, Courtyard. I was actually talking with I think Kaylee about this, and Courtyard's kind of considered a safe map, right? You can generally expect to maybe split it 50-50. So banning it is a pretty interesting choice. So we'll see what the picks are. So
it's an expression of confidence.
It is an expression of confidence. So Elvisnake starts things out by picking Ballroom, any 4 of 8. PwndNoob responds with High Rise, any 3 of 5. So those are going to be our doubled maps. So we're going to play 4 games each on those maps. Followed by Elvisnake's pick of Library, 5 of 8, one of the best looking maps on the game. PwndNoob rounding us out with Pub, any 4 of 7. So those are our picks: Ballroom, High Rise, Library, and Pub. What do you think of those?
This is really interesting. You don't usually see a Softail map like High Rise going in. You'll see a lot of Balcony getting picked for a doubled map if someone really likes Balcony.
Mm-hmm.
Or you see a lot of standard maps like Ballroom and Courtyard getting picked for doubles because people are comfortable on those. But a Softail map like High Rise, any 3 of 5, that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah,
Well, it plays right into PwndNoob's style. PwndNoob plays a very opponent-centric game, which often means trying to figure out what kind of things induce his opponent to shoot. He is liable to get a civilian shot a lot more than your average spy at this level. In Season 3, for example, in his spy games, a civilian was shot almost 40% of the time, which is much higher than you normally see, even at higher levels. So that's the kind of game he likes to play, and High Rise, 3 of 5 with the Softail variants, plays right into that.
Yep, well, shall we see how this whole thing shakes out then?
Yes.
Heck yeah!
Boom. Oh my gosh, look at this production value. Oh, hats off to, I believe this was Kaplow that put kind of the overlays, and Kledos, I know, did a lot of work on it too, put all this together. So this is really kind of a community thing. For those of you who are tuning in just for the first time, the way these matches work are, we just saw the picks and bans. It is best out of 12, so first to 7 is the winner. 6-6 ties are indeed possible. Anything else to add? I think, the first 2 maps are going to be played 4 games on each, so we're going to do 4 games on Ballroom, followed by 4 games on, I already forgot what it was, 4 games on High Rise, followed by 2 games on Library and 2 games on Pub, if we indeed need to make it that far. So, we are starting off PwndNoob as, let's see, as Tex,
the spy.
And, oh my gosh, look at that. Alright, so count us in, Tobo.
Let's get this thing underway in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Ballroom, a very sensible choice for Elvisnake. I believe he had 8 mission wins in Season 3, 3 of them on Ballroom.
Yeah, and Ballroom is also a great first map just for people to get into the flow of the game, get into their rhythms, because these being players who have been around for a while, Ballroom is one of the most comfortable maps you can be on, being the oldest map in the game. PwndNoob starting things off with the 30% flirt, as per usual. Would have liked to get a little bit closer, but 30% will do. Wow, moving pretty quickly back into the seduction target again.
Yeah, pretty aggressive even for Ballroom, and for Noob in particular, but you can probably get away with it at this stage, especially in the first game, not just of the match, but of the entire season.
Yeah. So early on as well, slips into the other side of the conversation from where he was before. Green on the second flirt gets him up to 81%, and now we're in a pretty comfortable spot. Almost any flirt will finish it in 1 at this point.
Yeah, he's probably just giving himself options here, though. I mentioned earlier that Noob much more focused on inducing a shot into a civilian. Only 3 mission wins all of last season, although one of them was on Ballroom. That's just not his game. His game is not to finish missions for the most part.
I'm surprised he left that conversation instead of just sitting in there. He didn't get much distance on it. But look at this. Super fast to finish the flirt. We're just under 2 minutes to play, and he's already got his flirt done.
True, but nothing else, and right now it doesn't really feel like he's necessarily planning on finishing. Again, he might be trying to lean towards the frame, but give himself a little bit of an out if he needs it. And getting the seduce done early is certainly consistent with that.
Not much progress, but he's been moving around a whole lot. I'm surprised he hasn't been hanging around in conversations more.
I think what he wants to do here is leave it so that if he does have to try to finish missions late, the missions available to him are going to be the kind he can do very quickly. Obviously, that's not seduce, so you get that out of the way early.
Agreed, but even with the fast seduce, he's done 2 extra conversation shifts that he hasn't had to do, so he's been seen moving about a whole lot.
Well, he did attempt a bug just then, and it did not take.
It was a fairly safe one to attempt, all things considered.
Yes.
White banana bread coming off. Action test ignored, actually. And the purloin coming off behind it on the green test. This could be pretty big. Let's see how this turns out for him.
I don't think Elvis saw it. He was getting his lowlights. I think he got 2 out of 3 possible lowlights there, and they were solid, but a very good BB and with the purloin.
There's the tank. He knows!
He's all over it. Wow, great shot.
Very nice. What a start from Elvis.
Yeah, I did not think he saw that reject. I'm genuinely impressed. It wasn't a great position to do the reject from. It was pretty visible, but just not that many lowlights. Most people clustered into 2 conversations near each other. I think gave him a little bit more confidence.
I think so.
Yeah, that was a great shot from Elvis. I'm just taking another look at that bug attempt again. It's just a pinch too early. I think if he was let it go a little bit later, that would have taken. Great occlusion though. I think Toba, like you said, perfectly safe bug. So well done.
Yeah,
Alright.
I'm very impressed with that shot.
So
Let's get on into the next one. We've got Elvis on the spy this time. PwndNoob on the sniper in 3.
Wait. I have to update the thing. Oh, yeah. All right, there we go. Now go.
Okay.
Savor it.
Savor it. Just savor the production.
In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Elvis with a very similar start, the standard go find your seduction target and flirt with them immediately for 34% this time around.
Yep, Elvis has a very typical spy profile for this level. Shot a little over half the games, mission wins about 1 of every 5 games, very few timeouts, pretty standard. Doesn't really have any strong leanings there in terms of, will he complete, won't he complete.
Playing things relatively slow off the start, already has a highlight somehow.
Yeah, Noob is not going to highlight in a particularly obvious way. Sometimes there's going to be a lot of idiosyncratic stuff, not just the standard highlight for statues that you're going to see out of some snipers.
Early fingerprint off of the briefcase, bug arm all the way inside. That's beautiful.
Yeah, very solid. And now, if you assume that's not seen, and based on the sniper camera movement where he's zooming in on the purloin far away from Queen, probably not seen, Elvisnake basically jumps out to a lead here, and this is his game to lose.
And look at this, we've got 2 inspects done, we've got the flirt at the statues, we've got the fingerprint done, we've got the bug done. There's so much progress already.
He can finish this game without a banana bread.
Oh, this is going to be good, but it looks like we're stepping in for the contact coming in.
Now, I have seen
Very
safer
shortly.
games than this unravel because of an uncooperative DA or seduction target forcing you to do a second hardtail late. That can happen, and there's only 90 seconds left. This is not a sure thing, especially if the ambassador stubbornly refuses to touch things.
There's the contact, white test. Oh, man! Must have
seen the
been a
bug.
lot more suspicious of that bug than we thought. Suspicious enough to just wait for confirmation.
Yeah, now one thing to remember is that these are competitive matches, which means both players know that this is early in the set and that they're going to be looking at each other's replays, and they want to potentially disguise the reason for their shot as much as they can. You can only do it so much, but some of these sniper camera movements make it seem like they haven't seen what's going on, be it the purloin reject or the bug. In both cases, they might have very well seen it, but just didn't want it to be as obvious afterwards.
That bug was completely invisible, though, even though he was looking really carefully at it. It must have just been how close he slipped up to the ambassador there, because that's the only thing that it could have been.
Yeah, it was the closeness, and I believe Pearls walked right in front just at the right time. I'm going to kind of look at it from this angle.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Pearls just walks in. You can maybe get a little glimpse of it, but yeah, that was a super, super, super well-hidden bug.
I'm surprised that he was confident enough in that bug to take a shot for it, because, I mean, yeah, it seemed like he was a little bit close from the sniper side, but it's like...
Yeah, it's not visible. It's not visible. But here's the thing: Noob will shoot for reasons other than that. He's not a camper by any stretch of the imagination. But he does study. He's a student of his opponent. So there's going to be a lot of shots that we're going to see that are probably going to make plenty of sense to someone who's been studying their opponent correspondingly, but maybe not to us.
All right. Well, second set of games here on Ballroom coming on up.
All right.
PwndNoob back in the spy shoes, Elvisnake on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Very slow start here for Noob once again, not in a rush.
Wow, look at this. 2 paintings now. This is an unusual opening, but does eventually step in for that first flirt. Green for 49%. That's still in 2 flirt range. Oh, that reverse drive-by bug was real pretty.
Excellent. And there's a pillar between him and the sniper most of the way. There's only so much you can do about that. If you're on ballroom and you're a good sniper, you're not going to catch it necessarily. You just have to realize it could have happened, and that's really all you can do right now.
Look at that twitch over as well to get closer to try to get this 2 flirt on the timer. That's so nice. Fake contact though. That was probably supposed to be a flirt.
I think so, maybe. He hasn't covered anything with it. Knocks out a statue highlight too for it.
Gets the 2 flirt because of the twitch over. That's so nice.
Yeah, very well done. It's actually a pretty good place to try the twitch. The twitch is so small. Again, you have the pillar there. Now, obviously, if the sniper's on the far left, the pillar's not going to be giving any occlusion, but most snipers on ballroom are spending the majority of their time at least to the right of that first pillar. So it's probably going to give you some blockage.
Now in an innocent conversation with the ambassador, this is a solid game from PwndNoob so far. Not even highlight.
Yeah, very good shape right now. The question is, does he go to center statues or not? Well,
and apparently the answer to that is yes. Yes, we do.
Now the problem is, if the sniper has good game sense and they feel they're behind, they can sometimes take a Hail Mary shot and say, you know what, someone's going to go to center statues or to statues twice with less than 90 seconds, and I'll shoot them just because I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose otherwise, which is a reasonable shot to take. So that's why it's risky, even if you're way ahead.
Just barely hitting that 2 cycle at the back statues there. He got the green on the last inspect, and if he hadn't hit that, I think he might have cut a bit of an animation, but...
He probably would have. Now, there was a very full conversation in front of him and a lot going on. I don't know if it would have been instant death, again, like it would be against some, in some situations or against some snipers, but obviously very good to avoid it. That's the kind of thing that could sully an otherwise good game.
We do have that highlight now. If we can find a contact, that'll be the end of the game. Yep. Whether or not it is a bullet or not. I think a contact would be able to do it, but double agent
probably
not being kind.
Yeah, it probably would, but you never know. Just like that statue visit, when you get away with a hardtail, you don't actually know. You don't actually know if you got away with it until you A, go to statues, or B. But
safety off of the seduction target for a moment, so we have a big suspect, but the double agent is not cooperating. This is going to be a swap.
He's going to have to swap late. This is why you got to get the banana bread in earlier. This is why you got to contact the double agent earlier in the game.
He sees it! Oh no!
That's brutal. Absolutely brutal loss.
Oh my god, what? That's brutal! What a way to go!
Rough. Yeah, done with the seduce, makes that great twitch move, double greens it, gets away with the bug completely scot-free, not a big suspect for the inspect, but just the DA does not come into conversation and he can't get it done.
That was rough.
Yeah, it's bad luck for sure, but you know, that's one of the downsides when you don't do contact the double agent in the first half of the game, is you put yourself at the mercy of the double agent.
That being said, let's just take a look at that sick bug again. I've been showing it on stream, but like let's just watch this. All right, so I'm looking at 253, 252. So the ambassador puts the statue down, comes to turn, and oh my god, it's a beauty.
Yeah, you can see the hand. It does come out past queen, but you'd have to be looking right there, and you don't have much of an angle on it. And if you're not zoomed in, you're probably not going to notice it. But it is visible, but it's a heck of a bug.
Well, here I'm gonna go to interactive sniper view, and we're gonna watch this real quick. We're gonna see what this looks like.
You'd have to be deciding to watch.
Yeah, like
at that point.
If you knew, we're gonna take a look. I kind of went a little bit.
Little hand comes out. You could just see the edge of the hand. Now here's the thing though. That angle right there, that conversation, those 2 or 3 people around that conversation curve there, they're all in a position to bug. And if the amb is at statues, you can hang out in one of those spots and be relatively confident that they're going to walk right by you. So, you know, a good spy, and at this level, we have nothing but good spies. They'll sit at certain places in these conversations knowing they're going to get a bug opportunity. So it is not beyond the sniper's capability to expect that, anticipate it, and be looking very closely at that ambassador when they leave those statues.
Man, it is so hard to guard reverse drive-by bugs, though. You have to be spending so much attention on the ambassador. It's very easy to let a lot of other stuff go by the wayside if you're laser burning him when he's walking all the time.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. But yeah.
I was just gonna say, just for the new players here, we should probably define a reverse drive-by bug.
Yes, this is a good point.
Yes, let's just quickly do this. All right, so I got the bug on screen. I'm about to show it again.
Yeah, better shown than explained. It's a little tricky to explain.
So a reverse drive-by bug is essentially the ambassador comes and just kind of walks by, and you just bug as they're walking by, which is basically what happened here.
They basically walk into your bug, so to speak. Once they start crossing you, the option becomes available. You click on it, and if you time it right, by the time they have finished walking by you, the bug has taken. And whether you realize it or not, a lot of snipers, even though they know this is possible, what they normally do is they watch people approaching the ambassador. They don't pay as much attention to who the ambassador is passing by, partially because that requires much more attention and is happening constantly. And because the ambassador would have to coincidentally at some point walk by the spy as opposed to the spy going to them. So it tends to get less attention, and it actually can be a little subtler sometimes too. So there you go.
All right.
Cool. And with that,
either way, let's get into the next one. Last game on Ballroom for the set. It's going to be Elvisnake on the spy side. PwndNoob looking to tie it up as the sniper. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, playing it. Long path to the seduction target early on means Elvisnake is not able to get that early flirt without being too obvious about it. She might come to us, though, and she does! Look at that! Very friendly on the seduction target's part.
Yeah, you can't ask for much more than that. The only thing you could ask for is that it happens on a map where it's a little more valuable than this one, because usually you can get away with going up to them, but you'll take it.
You'll always take it. Double agent is in the conversation. White test, but contact, 1 low light, 3 low lights now.
I think he got just about everything he could have out of that one.
I think he could. That was strong reactions on both of their parts, because I'm pretty sure PwndNoob was zoomed in when it went off, so he had to make an educated guess about who wasn't walking.
Yeah, and he looks like he took 1 low light that was not completely hard, that might have been in conversation, but decided to make an educated guess, and it was also correct. So he managed to get 4 on Ballroom, and that's pretty good. That is above the over/under you want a sniper on Ballroom. Elvisnake does get highlight, though, and I'm not sure why. It could just be for kind of leaving a conversation after the BB in a normal spy-like amount of time. You don't want to split exactly. You're also probably not interested in hanging around for 30 seconds. You wait about 10, 15 or whatever it is. It's kind of a spy timing, and that is the kind of thing that Noob will highlight for sometimes.
Green test on the second flirt brings us up to 85%. At this point, literally any flirt from anywhere will finish that mission.
And gonna try to get the inspects out of the way without letting it get too close to the end of the game here. Still about 90 seconds, though. You're probably noticing a pattern here. This is a very common time to get your inspects done on Ballroom.
And center statues as well. It's a suspicious
red
situation.
Test. Well, that could have been bad. That could have forced him into a third cycle with that red test, but he's all right.
It all worked out somehow. Stepping into the blue bookcase for a fingerprint. Giving himself options. Wow, that was a very fast putback.
Yeah, definitely quick. Not great there. The Duke going to center statues as well. Oh yeah, he's all over it.
I think the putback speed might have been the kicker there, actually.
You know, this is a very aggressive shot, but look at the missions completed there. 2 are done. He knows 2 are done. You have to credit flirt at that point, either as being done or something that you're not going to be able to reliably catch after. And if he was able to track even that 1 fingerprint, you also have to credit fingerprint sometimes. If you know for sure someone has 1 fingerprint, you have to be very confident in your abilities, or you have to have been tracking fingerprint on a very specific level to confidently say there was no second fingerprint. There could be a difficult fingerprint. There could be a drink. Maybe no one took a drink for a long time after the ambassador did. You have to be very confident. Otherwise, you have to, the same way you have to credit flirt, you often have to credit that second fingerprint.
Yeah, it was a difficult shot to take, but almost a necessary one, and it certainly worked out. So we've split Ballroom. It's 2-2.
Yeah, all snipers, and there was really only one thing that was even close to being a spy win. That was obviously Noob's game where he got away with the bug and had to swap late when the double agent wouldn't join a conversation. The other three, the spy actually didn't even get that close. None of them even got into the countdown, and the snipers took very, very confident, strong shots.
Yep, and with that, that takes us to the next map, which is High Rise, if I remember correctly, and I do.
It is. You do remember correctly.
And I do, because, well, you know, I got it here. So
High Rise, any 3 of 5. This is a very interesting map and setup for multiple reasons. One, you've got these screen doors in there that are difficult but possible to see through. So occasionally you'll see people highlight people who are behind the screens just so they're easier to watch until they get back out of them. But as well as that, this is one of the few setups where you actually have to get rid of missions. So which missions you decide to leave on and which you take off wind up being a very interesting consideration. And on top of that, you only need to complete 3. You only need 3 completions, so you don't even need to do a hardtail on this map.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you do 3 of 5 on High Rise, you're going to ban obviously a couple hardtails unless you're playing a very strange spy game. So banning swap and microfilm, no big surprise there. What is a little bit of a surprise is banning Bug the Ambassador. Most people leave Bug on at all costs. It's a great mission. It's something you can do late with very little notice if you need to. But notice that it's Noob who's doing it. This fits his playstyle. I mentioned earlier that he likes to induce wrong shots, get civilian shot rather than complete missions, and that this map choice, 3 of 5, fits that. So does having Purloin and Fingerprint instead. The thing about Bug is, when it happens, it's gone. There's no trace of it. The sniper doesn't know it's done. It's not that useful for trying to frame someone. It's useful for actually completing missions. So I think we're going to see this play right into Noob's hands. I think this is going to be him trying to frame people for the most part.
I think you're right. Even then, it's a hard sell for me to get rid of Bug. Like, that mission is good enough that it still happens on occasion on balcony.
Yeah, you're right.
And kind of a counter point to your, getting rid of Bug to induce a shot. You could also look at it the other way, where getting rid of Bug can prevent an induced shot. Because if you can kind of like convince yourself, oh well, maybe they could have bugged, maybe I better shoot them now. But anyway, I'd say let's get us into this game, see how it goes. Toba, why don't you count us in?
In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, this is just a pure high-level strategy pick from Noob. It's not about execution at all. It's about decision-making and knowing your opponent. That's what he's going to try to do here on High Rise.
Seduction target starts things off at the statue. PwndNoob doesn't want any part of that.
Yeah, it would not surprise me if he doesn't complete inspects in this game, or the next one, for that matter. But we'll see. There's a lot of ways to go. He's going to be paying a lot of attention to this, though. Look at that. Twin goes to center statue. You better believe he's noticing that.
Interesting thing to note, you often still don't want to take Bug-looking paths, even when Bug is off, because quite often, snipers will forget that Bug is off and guard it anyways out of habit.
Yeah, that's certainly true. I'm going to give Elvis enough credit that in an SCL match they're both on top of it, but in more casual games, it's definitely happened to me a few times. But look at this. This could not be going any better for Noob right now, with 3 early statue visitors and 1 of them to center statues. Although the fact that he went to center statues and then a second statue visit, not as great. But this is what you're looking for if you're Noob. This is a good start for him.
Certainly the party's going pretty well for him, and he was able to get an early fingerprint off of a drink, which is very strong. But as well as that, that's all he's got. Like, he hasn't had a chance to flirt yet.
Yeah, I think the fingerprint might have even been I don't even know if he's trying to complete missions. The fingerprint might have been incidental, or he might just be leaving himself a couple of options late if he needs them. Virtually everybody other than him, and I think the Morgan Freeman character, has been to statues now, though.
So, yeah, I think the party's been active enough that if PwndNoob just hard idles.
Yes.
Oh no, double agent stepping away from conversation. Wounds up being incredibly helpful because the suspected double agent was in the other conversation and didn't do shot.
Yep, well, there it is. Look, I said he's going to be watching him very closely for that center statue visit. If you are Elvis at that point, and it's 3 of 5, you know he's been to center statues. The inspects can be done. You've heard the banana bread, and you don't have any reason to think he couldn't be done with flirts. So
Yeah.
there it is. You take the shot. You really just have to ask yourself, would he try to complete missions like this quickly? If the answer is yes, he might, then you shoot.
Yeah, that was... The party did absolutely everything PwndNoob could have asked it to. And it worked out for him. Now he's stepping into the sniper side of things with Elvisnake on the spy in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Now remember, this is not Elvis's choice, so it's going to be very interesting seeing how he plays it. Is he going to try to accomplish missions?
Took a run out of time, a chaos bug, didn't quite wind up taking as the ambassador was going in the other direction. Does get an early flirt at the bookcase, though. A green test for 51%, nice and snuggly. All things considered, pretty good start for Elvis.
Yeah, not bad. I don't think the bug attempt was seen, but you can never be sure. Elvis played High Rise 4 times last year, by the way, in Season 3. Timed out once, Spy shot the other 3 times. So he did not have any high-rise wins in 4 tries as Spy last season. It's no surprise then maybe that Noob picked it. Elvis did not.
This is very true. Elvis stepping in for his second flirt now. Oh, actually, Seduction Target is doing... Fake banana bread coming off. Seduction Target was doing briefcase, so couldn't actually have been flirted with in that situation, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, a fingerprint and a half a flirt done. That's decent progress here on 3 of 5.
Especially with still 2 minutes and 15 left to play. Double Agent is actually in the conversation now.
Yeah, Elvis may get it clear in chat that was unintentional. He was interested in possibly flirting. The fake BB, not intentional at all. Which makes sense because you can't really see the reason for it there. It wasn't covering for anything.
2 minutes to play. Elvisnake taking things nice and slow. Seduction Target not being too kind.
Yeah, and most of the action has been concentrated here on the left. That allows Noob to zoom in and really focus on what's happening in those 2 conversation circles. When there's a lot more activity on the far side, it divides the attention more effectively. But right now, he can just stare that ambassador down. Doesn't need to track Purloin, of course, but he can, I mean, at this point, you can maybe even track the talks like you could on Balcony a little bit if you really want to.
Indeed. Don't need to memorize statues, don't need to look at books, don't need to track the guest list. Really, the bug ambassador is the only hard tell you're looking at.
There it is.
Wow! That's an impressive shot.
Well, look at what happens here. He's got several lowlights already, and this knocks out Queen. Who's left at that point? There's only 2 people, really. It's Slim, or it's the hair character. So there it is. Now maybe he's been tracking the fingerprint too. You know, remember earlier he was on the fingerprint. After 1 fingerprint on Ballroom, he was all over Elvis for that. It might be a case of I'm expecting Elvis to fingerprint in these games.
That's true.
But look at that party. That party was narrowed down. It was already down to 2 people. So that's the kind of situation where you can take those kind of shots. Our mutual friend Drawn Onward loves to do that to me. He'll shoot me, and I'll always say, "Why did you do it? I hadn't done anything for 30 seconds." And he goes, "Well, it was you and 1 other person, and I low-lit them for something, and that left you." So just a simple process of elimination shot.
Well, that puts PwndNoob at a lead for the first time in the evening. It's now 2-4 in his favor as we go into the second half of High Rise, any 3 of 5. As PwndNoob steps into the spiral once more, he has left Bug on this time. He's taken off Transfer, Swap, and Purloin. Let's get this thing underway in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Now, for the reason Hummus mentioned earlier, that can work to induce a shot too. You can make an argument either way for Bug, but the general setup, the other 4 missions, are pretty much non-negotiable if you're thinking about maybe trying to induce a shot.
Indeed. Early flirt, a little bit of a distance, but still a green test for 40%, so pretty nice for PwndNoob there.
Banana bread.
Wow, pretty aggressive start here. Very early contact, lets off 2 lowlights. I think there was a 3rd available, but I'm not confident in that?
Yeah, Green was walking in between conversation circles.
Okay.
It can be very hard to tell, though, because these conversation circles are basically back-to-back. They're just slightly offset. If you're walking from one to the other right when it happens, very hard to be confident in those lowlights. And in this party mode, with so few guests, your odds of lowlighting the spy are a lot higher if you're not careful.
Tried to take a difficult fingerprint off of that drink and wasn't quite able to get it, unfortunately.
Now, if you're noob, you'd still probably rather not finish missions. And when you look at Elvis' side, you can see that he's already narrowed down the party a bit. He's watching the right people. You really would love to induce a shot here, but it's not helping when the other highlight is going to a bookshelf with microfilm turned off.
This is very true. Second flirt comes off up to 74%. Very much still in 3 flirt range. Still have 2 minutes to play. Things are looking all right for PwndNoob. He does have that highlight.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't mean as much on 3-5. It's more like a balcony highlight. It's not necessarily tracking suspicion level. It might be tracking just, it might be tracking a very specific thing. Worth noting, by the way, that the red-haired woman in the green dress got bumped down for idleness. Noob has been in the same spot for a long time, too. It's entirely possible he could see the same soon.
That bug for the guys who are looking in chat and really want it to happen, that bug position is a huge trap because you're angled out just a little bit. Mm-hmm. That arm is just the position it was in. That arm is going to be super visible to a sniper. So if you're going to try something like that, make damn well sure you are exactly perpendicular.
It's one of those.
Picked up his last flirt.
It's one of those spots that feels more covered than it is. And there it is.
Oh!
Fingerprint could be done.
Bad shot for Elvisnake and PwndNoob. PwndNoob goes up 3.
Yeah, that's a big one, and that's why he picked high rise, is because Elvis is a sharp sniper, and he's gonna, at some point, he's gonna see someone in the party who could be done, and it's really hard not to shoot at that point.
This is very true.
You're absolutely right about that bug, though, by the way. I mentioned earlier in Ballroom that pillar usually gives you cover because the sniper's almost never going to hang out in the far left. Same thing here. If the sniper's on the far left on high rise, that bug spot is perfect. There's a lot of cover, but they almost never are. They're almost always just far enough right that arm's going to protrude way too much. So, yeah, sometimes the best move you make in SpyParty is not doing anything.
Oh, boy.
All right. And with that, I believe we're moving on to... Oh, no. I think we have
one more game.
We got one more on high rise. Man, that's good. It's all right.
Don't worry about it. Everything's fine.
Everything's good. Everything's good.
We got there. All right. Last game of 3 of 5. Elvisnake really needs this win. He's starting to come down a bit, and a spy win here would do him a lot of good. No transfer microfilm, no swap the statue, and no purloin the guest list. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, it's just a really bad position if you're Elvis. You're sitting there, and these characters could be done.
Ooh, that was not the greatest path coming from Elvis off the start, but it doesn't look like it was seen. Picks up a book early on, gets that 51% flirt off the top, so I think this is just fine for Elvis, assuming he didn't get caught on that weird...
Well, so here's the risk. It's a small enough party that's...
Oh, that was a nice bug! That was real pretty!
Yeah, it was. I was just talking about how the bookshelf is a bit of a risk. They both got highlight as potential flirt partners, so he's going to be watching for those flirts next to Queen the whole rest of the game. But the bug was basically invisible. Pretty good. You'll definitely... I would not trade the highlight on High Rise 3-5 for the 51% flirt, but I would trade it for the bug. That's a good deal.
Here's a big question. Do we go to another statue at any point in this game?
It really depends on how likely you think it is that the bug was seen. If you think it probably wasn't, I think I would be more likely to go to statues, actually. I'd be more obvious about it. But if he's just waiting for something, if he's waiting for that BB prompt, I don't know.
Oh, man, this is worrying. He's stepped right in next to Queen again, and you could see PwndNoob react to it. It is a 2 flirt, and the shot comes off right away!
Yep.
Saw him on the fingerprint on the green bookcase, caught him on 2 flirts, was suspicious of the bug, had to take a shot at that point, and my God, is PwndNoob on fire.
Yeah, great shot. Now the Elvis thing in the beginning that you mentioned, he basically ended up in a useless conversation and decided to take control and immediately follow the ST to bookshelves. Very understandable and something you can often get away with in Time of Chaos. But Noob, looking for that specifically, paired them as potential flirt partners and shot him right afterwards. Now, obviously, that's a very aggressive shot. I guess he could be done, but he probably isn't. But here's the thing: that is the kind of shot that can really mess with you when you get shot for flirting like that. That can really make you very gun shy in future games.
So, we split Ballroom, which was Elvisnake's pick. PwndNoob's pick was High Rise, and he swept High Rise. That's a doubled map he swept. That's not a good situation for Elvis.
Yeah, and Elvis did say after this match that he regretted not banning High Rise, and now you well, you can certainly see why, but it's not an easy choice to make. The thing is, Noob style is fluid enough that you can't ban him from playing this kind of game entirely. You can ban him from doing it on a particular map, but you're still going to have to get into this at some point. You're still going to have to get into some Softail variants. The question is, pick your poison. Which one's it going to be? In this case, he decided, let's go with High Rise, and it did not work out, unfortunately.
So, we step in to the library. Now, the
polar
library
opposite.
is basically anti-High Rise, because it's a very large map. The sniper can move around and look around really quickly here, but he can only see a third of the map at a time, and you can tell exactly which third the sniper is looking at any given moment. It winds up producing some very interesting shenanigans on the spy side. It's a lot of fun to watch, but it can be difficult for the sniper to keep track of everything.
Yeah,
you don't need to ban any minions on this map, though, which is
no, you don't. It's the only map where the sniper is stationary and sort of just swings their vision back and forth as opposed to rotating around, and it can be very disorienting if you're not used to it.
All right. So Elvisnake is playing for a draw at this point. Needs 4 wins in a row for it. Starting things out on the sniper side. PwndNoob on the spy, looking for a win right here and now. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Now, if you're Noob at this point, you're thinking, well, I've been able to induce 2 different shots on High Rise, and I have 4 chances to get this win right now. Is there any reason for me to be particularly aggressive or try to finish missions much?
I think the play right now is either you play it as cool as possible and try to induce a shot, or you hard rush.
You aggro, yeah.
Opening with 48% off of this first flirt, which is unfortunate because 49, you can still get a 2 flirt with a close green, but 48 is out of the cards.
Yeah, there's that old song, 1 is the loneliest number. I'm going to say 48 is just as lonely in SpyParty.
I think the big issue here is 99 is the loneliest number in SpyParty, and 48 facilitates 99.
48 is the precursor to 99, and 99 might as well be as good as 0.
Oh, look at this, a green purloin coming away from bookcase. That is one of the hardest places to catch a purloin coming from, and this is a great way to induce a shot.
And here's the thing, not only did he leave, but Toby left the general area too. The purloin has gone off, and now if you're Noob, you really probably don't want to try to finish missions because Elvis is going to be very hard-pressed not to fire.
Takes a low light from the purloin, oh no!
But here's the thing. I don't think he's still not necessarily in a position to accomplish missions, and he can't be confident he has the low light. So this is still going to hinge. Well, there's the bug.
So remember what I said about spy shenanigans
on library
on the other end of the map?
Yeah. The question is, does he suspect the low light enough to make sure he tries to finish missions?
96% after the second flirt. It was another green at a little bit of a distance, so
it's kind of looking like he is going to try to finish missions here. I gotta say though, if he wants to induce a shot, the biggest decision he has left is the banana bread to make sure to time it well.
Oh, he just swapped. This is how you lose. PwndNoob, this is how you lose. What have you done?
Yep. Unless he assumes it's a green. Remember, he doesn't see the fade. There it is.
He does.
There it is.
Oh my god, I think he saw the statue and was trying to figure out who was there last.
Yes. So
oh my god, that was the moment. That was the moment that PwndNoob could have thrown the game away.
Absolutely. But here's the thing. That far statue with the tall character, unless you're staring it down, and even then, you're not necessarily going to see that fade. You're not going to see the difference. For those who don't know, a green swap is swapped in the hands of the next person who picks it up, and it snaps to the new statue model, whereas the white fades more gradually, and a good sniper knows the difference. But you're almost never going to get to see that snap or fade on library, especially with a large character in front. So when Elvis sees that, he can decide, well, I guess I low-lit the spy and they just swapped in front of me, which seems a little weird and unlikely. Or he can say, well, I guess they're swapping for somebody else. Who could it have been? That's what Elvis decides, very understandably, and shoots the wrong person.
Here's the thing. As Elvis is pointing at the chat, Duke wasn't at that statue.
He was at the adjacent statue, yeah, and also in chat, Noob saying, didn't mean to swap.
Okay.
So
okay, that is
yeah.
Well, it worked out.
Well, right. So the nice thing is that when you get yourself low-lit for a green purloin at bookshelves in library, it covers a multitude of sins. You can do an accidental swap and have it work out. It's a lot less likely to work out, of course, if you're high-lit rather than low-lit.
Wow, though. Like, jeez. When I saw PwndNoob versus Elvisnake, I was not expecting a 7-2 finish either way.
Well, no, and you know what? If you watch the individual games, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense either. When we saw those early there, we saw Elvis taking very strong, very confident shots at some of them. So I think Elvis is on the ball here. I just think High Rise was a very marginal game where AIs could have finished missions multiple times, and he felt obligated to shoot. And then obviously just a really solid purloin here gets him on library, where his back is against the wall already. So I don't really think it's a reflection of the play of Elvis here. I think PwndNoob just made very good high-level decisions. The party played into it, and he capitalized very well.
I agree. But,
So, yep, that brings us to the end of the first match of the night. So, our next match is going to be Canadian Bacon versus Crazy Kaylee from our